This is the day that I will do something that will change thousands of lives instantly in just one video. What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Team SWARTZ, and if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Here I post a ton of Army basic training tips, recruiting, and other Army-related videos, to include going live weekly to address your most desired questions and concerns, typically on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hi, my name is Lewis, your local New York Army National Guard's full-time recruiter and part-time drill sergeant. With that being said, today's video is going to be the ultimate guide on how to prepare yourself for Army basic training in 2021 and moving forward. So I'm going to preface this video with the following statement. You can literally go from the couch straight to Army basic training and still be successful. I mean, you don't have to shower every day, but it is highly recommended. So I'm going to be covering a few key points that I think that you should consider to put yourself in a better position before leaving for basic training, helping you become financially, mentally, and physically ready for basic training. The first topic of discussion today is all about getting yourself to a basic level of physical fitness before leaving for basic training, for a few reasons. Do not make the same mistake I did 20 years ago, that I will wait to get to basic training to get in shape. It is going to hurt to sneeze, to laugh, to cough, because I did not, or many do not, get into a basic level of physical fitness prior to leaving. So with that being said, additionally, getting yourself to a basic level of physical fitness is going to prevent injuries. The most common injuries one will sustain at Army basic training are shin splints, and more frequently, stress fractures, which could lead getting you discharged from the Army as a result. So when you go on sick call for shin splints or pain in the hips or the shins or the legs, understand that if the doctor diagnoses you with stress fractures, more than likely, worst case scenario, you're gonna be sent home and discharged. So you have to decide, am I hurt or am I injured? So that's just word to the wise. You take and heed that warning as you see fit. Now, we as drill sergeants understand that we're gonna have all walks of life come into basic training at various levels of physical fitness. So we're not expecting you to perform at an Olympic athlete level. So we know that we're gonna have people coming straight from the couch, and we're gonna have people that have been living and breathing 3 hours in the gym daily. So we all have to get you to the same level, meaning that we want you and will get you to the point where you can pass the Army Combat Fitness Test at the moderate level, which is the minimum standard to pass the Army Combat Fitness Test. All right, so at Army basic training, you are going to be conducting PT, physical training, at minimum Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays, depending on your local SLP with your drill sergeants and their leadership. However, your structured, organized PT will be Monday through Friday, alternating days from strength and mobility and endurance and mobility. Meaning, endurance meaning your cardio, your running. So you're doing strength training at least 2 to 3 times per week, plus your corrective training, meaning that we're going to make you do PRT, physical readiness training exercises, in the form of punishment for each infraction you do, okay? So with that being said, you're gonna be doing more than enough corrective training and regular strength training, and you will excel in that area. The area that most people are going to struggle with is your running, your endurance and mobility, because you're only doing 2 to 3 days of endurance training. So that is the area that you're going to lack. So that is going to be the primary focus that I want you to focus on before leaving to basic training. Yes, you can still do body weight exercises, go to the gym and lift weights or what have you, but your primary focus and highest priority will be to run at least 3 days per week or every other day until you leave. So I recently met up with my social media star, Staff Sergeant Tejeda, and he was nice enough to lend me to provide to you a free beginner runners program for you who is going straight from the couch with zero activity to something prior to leaving for basic training. It is a great introduction, easing into a walking and running routine for 2 months before you leave for basic training. You can find that in the description area, and do me a favor, go and follow him on Instagram and YouTube, because he posts a lot of inspirational and motivational posts, and seeing his story and the things that he has overcome throughout his Army career and life in general is amazing. So thank you so much, Staff Sergeant Teixeira, and I appreciate you lending this to my subscribers and helping them build that successful mindset and physical capability prior to leaving for basic training. Now, if you are otherwise generally active, working out maybe 2 to 5 times per week, I suggest that if you are comfortable with running, hiking, or whatnot, and otherwise active, follow this next running routine that I'm going to discuss with you. So what I want you to do is run 3 times per week. One day is going to be for distance, running 3 to 4 miles, throw on some headphones, go out and enjoy your run. If you feel that you have to stop, you're going to stop, take a deep breath in. Do that once or twice and get right back into it. 3 to 4 miles, don't worry about how fast you're running. You're doing it for time. Enjoy the run. Listen to a podcast. Listen to your favorite music. I don't care. Just enjoy your run. And on the second day, you're going to run for time, getting the shortest time possible for your 2 miles, testing yourself for your future Army combat fitness test, running the shortest time possible. So with that being said, it is you versus you every single week, with the intent and goal to beat your last week's or previous run time for your 2 miles. Test yourself. Push yourself, and never settle for less. Always strive for perfection and settle on excellence. And on the third day, you're essentially going to be doing wind sprints, and you can do them several different ways. But at Army Basic Training, you are going to be at the beginning doing 30-60s, and eventually working your way up to 60-120s. So what that means is, for 30 seconds, you are sprinting at 90 to 100% max effort for 30 seconds, walking as a form of rest, active rest, right, for 60 seconds, and then repeat at least 10 repetitions. 60-120s is the same thing, but you're sprinting for 60 seconds. So it's equivalent to, for 30-60s is equivalent to doing 200-meter dashes, and the 60-120s is equivalent to doing 400-meter dashes. So if you are out in the street, use a stopwatch, get a timer or something like that. You can download a boxer timer like this here. I'll put it on the screen for you to check out. It's free. You can pay into it if you want to. No need. Just download a free version. Now, if you go to a 1/4 mile track, right? 4 laps equals 1 mile. 8 laps is 2 miles. You could do it on the track and time yourself that way. Or you could download an app for your phone if you don't have a smartwatch like a Garmin, Apple Watch, Samsung, so on and so forth. So if you want to download free apps for your phone, you could look at Runkeeper, Map My Run from Under Armour. You got Nike Run Club. There are all kinds of different free apps that you could download that you could use at your leisure to track your run time, your pace, and your distance, depending on what workout you're doing for the day. Now, once you get comfortable doing this, either on a track or a relatively flat surface, I want to challenge yourself by finding yourself a hill that you can knock out at least 30 to 60 seconds of a dead-out sprint, right? And do hill repeats, basically. Same thing, 30-60s, but doing it up a hill at least a 10 to a 15% grade or incline of a hill. Out of all 3 workouts, whether it's the distance run, testing yourself for 2 miles, or the wind sprints or the 30-60s is going to be the primary workout that's going to decrease your run time during your Army Combat Fitness Test. Now, understand that the minimum standard on the Army Combat Fitness Test is 21 minutes, and that's for everyone, male or female, whether you're 17 years old or over 35. It doesn't matter. It's the same across the board. It is no longer MOS specific. However, when you're testing yourself for the 2 mile run and you're like, all right, good, I made it, 21 minutes. Understand that during the Army Combat Fitness Test, if you legitimately push yourself in the other 5 areas or 5 areas that you'll be tested on, is going to add at least a minute to a minute and a half to your run time. So you're technically going to need to be able to run it in 19 minutes and 30 seconds or less to give you a good buffer, more realistic buffer, to be able to pass your 2 mile run during the Army Combat Fitness Test. Additionally, I want you to condition your feet, because the biggest thing that you're gonna endure at Army basic training are blisters and, again, shin splints. So a lot of people are not accustomed to being on their feet all day or walking long distances for a long period of time. So I want you to add one ruck march, or a hike in civilian terms, per week. The first week, I want you to test yourself out at 2 miles with the intent of trying to get each mile completed within 15 minutes, which is going to be a challenge in of itself, with a minimum goal of something less than 20 minutes per mile. Each week, when you go out for your ruck march, you're gonna add an additional quarter of a mile to a half a mile each week that you ruck. After the first week or two, if you are feeling froggy, add some additional weight on your back outside of your water source. Throw on a book bag, throw on some books in there, and if you have a scale at home, great. If not, no more than 20, 25 pounds before you leave the basic training, okay? The whole point of this exercise is to get your feet acclimated to walking long distances, feeling those hot spots and understanding what it feels like to walk at a sustained fast pace. Okay, but the goal of this is to condition your feet, create calluses, tough skin, because basic training boots, the standard issue boots, are extremely heavy and very uncomfortable. Once you graduate from basic training or OSA, when you get to AIT or your first unit of assignment, I highly suggest and implore you to upgrade your boots. Now, as a secondary priority, you are going to want to do body weight exercises and or incorporate weight training. Now, I have a great program, the downloadable link of a program that includes 6 days worth of training, 1 day being body weight focused in a circuit form, and another day for lifting weights. Now, you can replace the lifting weights portion if you don't have access to a gym or equipment, and replace that with your run day as previously described, right? But at minimum, you should be doing body weight exercises. Now, if you don't know about the Army Combat Fitness Test, I'll post a link down below when I created the video explaining the ACFT when it was MOS specific. So when watching that video, make sure that understand that the moderate level is the minimum standard for all, regardless of MOS. It is still, to this day, unless it changes, age and gender neutral. So that is the minimum standard for everybody. Doing only body weight exercises and running every other day will help you and guarantee you to pass the Army Combat Fitness Test. It won't, body weight exercises alone will not have you max out the ACFT, but you will pass it. So you have 9 to 10 weeks of basic training to pass your ACFT. If you don't want to follow that program down below in the description area, keep it simple. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats, pull-ups, and dips. You do not need a fancy gym membership. Go to your local jungle gym, right? Go to your local kids park, right? Where you could do the jungle gym, right? You can do pull-ups, dips, knee raises, leg raises, which leads me into working on your core and your grip strength for the Army Combat Fitness Test. The 3 events that grip strength and endurance of the forearm muscles is going to be extremely important is going to be for the 3 repetition maximum deadlift, the sprint drag carry, right? So in that has 5 events in that one event, with 2 of them, one being that you're dragging 90 pounds, the other one you're carrying 80 pounds in the form of 2 40-pound kettlebells, both of them being 50 meters each, with a total of 250 meters in total in that one event. The 3rd event that's going to require you to have good grip strength and forearm endurance is the leg tuck. So I want you to work on your core prior to leaving for basic training, and when you're at basic training, outside of your organized PT in the morning, throughout the day or during your 1 hour or so personal time in the evening, I need you to work on your core. It is much easier to knock out 1 leg tuck versus the 2 minutes and 9 seconds minimum standard to pass the plank if they're authorizing the plank as an alternate event. However, in a basic training environment, at least for Fort Jackson, they're doing a 10-second hang on a pull-up bar. So you get to the top position, same way you would as the leg tuck, but you have to hold yourself here for 10 seconds. If you fail to hold yourself there for 10 seconds, you fail the ACFT and may not be authorized to go into the forge and may get recycled to an earlier phase to allow you to build your physical fitness, because for safety reasons, they may feel that you may get injured or have a higher probability of getting injured during the forge, which is your final FTX field training exercise, your last and final basic training requirement, right? So understand that, yes, you do not have to pass the ACFT until March 31st of 2022, but for safety reasons, if you bomb the ACFT, or at least one event, whether you meet the minimum standards or not, they have the authority to recycle you to an earlier phase. So work on your core before you leave. You could do the Army's 4 for the core. You could do forward planks, side planks, reverse planks, hang from a pull-up bar straight up like this, bring both knees up, hold it for a second, lower it, right? Same thing with the leg raises. Bring your legs up, hold it for a second or two, and lower them down. To help with the grip strength, you can literally just hang on a pull-up bar for trying to shoot for 20 to 30 seconds, right? And do that 3 to 5 repetitions every single day. To make it even better, right, as previously described, get to the top position and just hold yourself there for 20 to 30 seconds. Eventually working close to a minute for 3 to 5 reps every single day. Just holding yourself like this every single day, right, at basic training, I guarantee you when it comes time to do your leg tuck for the Army Combat Fitness Test right before your forge towards the end of your blue phase, I guarantee you you're going to be able to yeet one mother flower leg tuck, right? So heed my advice, work on your core before leaving in addition to your running. So your highest priority is running. Your secondary, almost just as important, is working on your core and your grip strength. So good luck. So the next topic of discussion in this video is to get your personal affairs in order prior to leaving. So whether you have additional financial responsibilities or have a family to care for, this section is for you. For everybody who is in training full-time, or if you are enlisted as an active duty soldier, understand that your base pay, housing allowance, and any other allowances or pay that you receive is split up into 2 payments. So you will get paid on the 1st and the 15th of every single month. Now, when you will receive your first paycheck will depend on the day that you ship out to training. So understand that it could take up to 30 days before your first paycheck hits your bank account. So I suggest that you have a buffer to have a certain set of funds in your bank account with auto pay set up, which we'll talk about in a second, to cover your bills, rent, or mortgage until you start getting paid by the Army. So with that being said, let's say, for example, you ship out on the 7th and you get through the finance office on, say, the 10th or the 11th. You're more than likely would not expect for you to get paid on the 15th, and your first paycheck will begin on the 1st of the next month. That is why I want you to create that buffer, create a budget, put some money off to the side. Hopefully, financially, you're in a good position to do so. If not, understand that it could take up to 30 days or that second pay period before you see your first paycheck. If you're the primary person that makes sure that all your bills get paid and all that stuff, and your spouse is otherwise not financially inclined to make responsible decisions, you might want to create a budget for them so that while you're in basic training for those 10 weeks plus the 11th week for reception or in processing, so that's almost 2.5 months, 3 months pretty much, that they will be not monitored, right? So you might want to do these steps here to minimize or mitigate that risk. So for rent or mortgage, if you cannot set up automatic payments or checks to be sent on your behalf from your bank, right? Try to set it up with that institution or that real estate agent or that landlord where you can direct deposit those funds on a monthly basis while you're gone. Or you can post-date checks for the next 3 to 4 months so that when the 1st of the month or whenever your rent or mortgage is due, they take that post-dated check and they take that to the bank on the day that it is dated for. So you are posting a future date for each month that your rent or mortgage is due. For your credit cards and all other bills, either through your financial institution or through that creditor, create automatic payments that will satisfy at least the minimum balance due on a monthly basis, because you will not have access to your cell phone or computers during Army basic training, which leads me into cell phone usage. Cell phones, or phones in general, are a privilege, not a right. Understand that you will receive a 5 to 10 second scripted call when you get to basic training, usually typically within the first 72 hours. Outside of that, it is up to your drill sergeants and their leadership if they award you with that privilege of utilizing your cell phone or phones throughout basic training. Make sure that you brief your family that the day that you report to basic training after that scripted call, not to expect a letter from you for at least 2 to 3 weeks. The reason being is it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for normal mail to go through the process to get from point A to point B and vice versa, right? So understand that that first letter is going to take a minute before it gets home. Now, if you watch my what to bring or pack for basic training, I'll post the link down below for you if you haven't seen it already. I suggest that you put stamps on all your envelopes and write down ahead of time on each envelope the name and address to everyone that you want to send letters to, with the first letter being sent to one person that is going to distribute your mailing address to everyone who is interested in sending you a letter. If you are a family member, a loved one, or a friend that is going to send a letter to your soldier in training, do me a favor. Please keep your letters positive and uplifting and encouraging. Your trainee is under a lot of stress. They are completely out of their element and way out of their comfort zone. So with that being said, if you present a problem or an issue to your trainee, they have no way of helping out, adding unnecessary stress, worrying about something they have zero control about. So please, keep it positive, right? Please. They will appreciate that. If you have children back at home while you're away at Army basic training, here are some things to consider doing for them. Create either a corner or a portion of a wall, either in the living room, their bedroom, what have you, and I want you to post up some photos of you with your children so that they can sit there with a stool or a chair and look at you, right? And you could also put like a small table there with a journal of things that you wrote for your child that they can read, or your spouse can read to them, right, while they're spending some time with you through photos. Sounds pretty silly, but it works, and that's what some recommendations came to me from parents who went through basic training who had, separation anxiety from their family, and this is one way to help with the anxiety in dealing with the children. Additionally, you can either get just a regular simple voice recorder, or if you want to get real fancy, you can get a teddy bear with a voice recorder inside that you can pre-record various messages that you want your child to be able to listen to while you're away, either by squeezing the bear, the hand, what have you, or just play the voice recorder and have them have the ability to hear a whole bunch of sweet nothings while you're away, like "I love you, sweetie," "I miss you," "I can't wait to see you again," so on and so forth, right? This is going to go a really, really long way if you do have children. Also, additionally, you can bring 1 to 5 tasteful photos, wallet size, preferably laminated, in your wallet, so that when you are in basic training and you're feeling down and you miss your family, right? You can pull those out, look at them, do what you need to do, and keep it moving forward. Additionally, if there is a true emergency that warrants the attention of your soldier in training, you must submit a Red Cross message. Now understand that the Red Cross message, if it prompts or you're requesting that the soldier come home and deal with the personal issue, whatever it may be, the Red Cross is going to contact their chain of command and basically pre-screen the Red Cross message to see if it's worthy to send the soldier home from a training environment. Now, for that to happen, it's got to be within an immediate family member, meaning a spouse, a mother or father, siblings, or their children. Cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparents, really, really great friends, it doesn't matter. They're not going to matter. Only your spouse, siblings, and immediate family, like your parents, okay? So understand that if a cousin passed away for whatever reason, your trainee is not going to be authorized to leave the training environment to attend that funeral or what have you, okay? That's how the Red Cross works. So while we're in the middle of Rona and maybe post-Rona, just so you know, your soldier in training will reach out to you when it comes time or when it gets close to their graduation date. Now, as of right now, as of July of 2021, in-person graduation ceremonies and or family day are in effect. There are some limitations and restrictions depending on the site that they are graduating from, but your soldier in training will have the updated information and will relay that to you either through the letter or through phone call, phoning home, okay? So with that being said, yes, they are in person, but that is subject to change now with the Rona variant Delta, wreaking havoc across the country, increasing the positive rates, okay? So again, yes, graduation days and or family day is back, but that can change. And again, only your soldier can confirm that with you at that time. Now, if your trainee mentions that there is a family day, which is always going to be the day before the graduation ceremony, and you feel, oh, I don't really need to go to the family day, I just want to go for the graduation ceremony, I highly suggest that you go there for the family day because they can spend at most locations up to 8 hours with their trainee, whereas on the graduation day, immediately after the completion of the graduation ceremony, you will have only up to an hour to 2 hours after the graduation ceremony and be confined to the graduation field that the ceremony was conducted before they have to go back to the barracks and finish out their out processing and clearing the barracks, so on and so forth. So the more bang for your buck is family day, but if all you get is a graduation day, be happy with it, because so many people, to include me last year in 2020, in the heat of Rona, right? No family was authorized to attend the graduation ceremonies, to include my Drill Sergeant Academy graduation. So be lucky that you're even attending. So just throwing that out there for you. All right, so if your trainee enlisted into active duty prior to the Rona, people or soldiers before going to their first duty station would go home and be sent home on HRAP orders, or Hometown Recruiting Assistant Program orders, where they would be able to work up to 10 days at their local recruiting office back at home to give them some additional time to be with family without being charged for leave or vacation days, essentially, right? So during Rona, until Rona is over, expect, whether they are married with a spouse and or children or not, every single soldier will be sent to their first duty station through sterile transportation. And from there, they will in process with their unit, and at that time, drop a leave or vacation request to go home or to do as they see fit with their leave. So if they're married, once they get to their permanent duty station and they've in processed, they will be able to request up to 10 to 14 days of permissive TDY to transport their family and their goods from their old home of record to their new home of record at the first duty station. So the trainee is not going to be able to leave the training environment once, becoming MOS qualified or job qualified, essentially, and help you do all that stuff. They have to go straight to their duty station, then go help you pack and move everything to their first duty station. No ifs and or buts, unfortunately. Now, the third topic of discussion is rank advancement. So, pre-enlistment, if you have 24 or more college credits, you will enlist as a private E2. E meaning your pay grade as an enlisted soldier. If you have 48 or more college credits or a 2-year degree, you will enlist or contract as a private first class E3. If you have a 4-year degree, you will enlist or contract as a specialist E4. Now, if for some reason, let's say for example, you owe money to the college for past tuition fees or what have you, and they're not willing to give you an official college transcript to award you additional or advance you to higher rank at time of enlistment, but will rectify the situation and produce an official college transcript to your leadership before you ship out to basic training, we can upgrade or update your rank advancement as per that guidance. Now, once enlisted and you don't qualify with any type of college or anything like that, there are two ways that you can rank up while you're at the recruit sustainment program with the Army National Guard or through the future soldier program with the Army Reserve or active duty Army. So with that being said, let's say you were a high school student or what have you, and you have zero college, so you're joining, like I did in 2001, straight out of high school as an E1, fuzzy wuzzy, no rank on your chest, right? So you have two programs that you can leverage to your advantage, which is the Stripes for Skills program and the Stripes for Buddies program. So understand this, that the Stripes for Skills program can only be utilized to advance you from an E1 to an E2. That's it. The Stripes for Buddies program can be leveraged to advance you from E1 to E2 and or from an E2 to an E3. Here's a little bonus tip for you. If you have a friend, a Johnny Snot-Nose from down the block that's looking to join, great. Put them in your pocket or start the process. But you can combine the Stripes for Skills program with the Stripes for Buddies program. So instead of getting 2 referrals to get to E3, you can leverage and pass the Stripes for Skills program, which I'll explain in a second, to advance you from E1 to E2, and then use your buddy, your referral, who contracts before you ship out to basic training. Both of these options have to be conducted and completed prior to leaving for basic training. And leveraging that one referral will advance you from E2 to E3. Now, the Stripes for Skills program is not an easy task. You're going to have to pass at the minimum standard for the Army Combat Fitness Test for all 6 events. Providing that you can do that, we're also going to test you on various information that you must memorize, which we'll go over shortly, but like the Soldier's Creed, the Warrior Ethos, military time, the phonetic alphabet, the rank structure, so on and so forth. In addition to that, you will also be tested on basic first aid, how to read a map, land navigation, various positions, facing movements, and marching drills with drill and ceremony, and more. I will put a study guide down in the description area for you to download and start studying. Don't wait to get to your first RSP or Recruit Sustainment Program drill with the National Guard or your future soldier program with your active duty / Army Reserve recruiters. Leveraging the Stripes for Buddies program may seem selfish of the recruiter and maybe a recruiting tactic to get more referrals from you. Kind of, sort of, yeah, I kind of see where you're going with that mindset, but it is to incentivize, there we go. To incentivize you, that was rough, to give referrals to earn more rank. The price difference in pay between an E1 to an E3 is this amount of money. That is over $400 in pay just for referring up to 2 people into earn rank from an E1 to E3 prior to leaving for Army basic training. Over the next course of, let's say, 5 months minimum in basic training, this is how much you would make while you were in basic training and AIT over the next 5 months versus getting and receiving this had you just shipped out to basic training as an E1. So yes, if Johnny Snot-Nose from down the block or Jane on the other block is looking to join, do yourself a favor. Yes, it helps your recruiter, but it also, and more importantly, helps you out. Whether you refer somebody to us or not, we're still getting paid salary, whether they join or not. The 4th topic of discussion in this video is while you're at the Future Soldier Program and your RSP for you National Guard folks, hashtag go guard, baby. So with that being said, is your drill and ceremony. Learn the various positions, the position of attention, the positions while at the halt, meaning the parade rest, stand at ease, and rest, and know the differences and nuances of each position. Additionally, learn your facing movements. The easiest ones are your left face and your right face. The more challenging, more difficult one that you should definitely practice before leaving is your about face. Stay tuned for future demonstrations and explanations and tips and tricks of executing each one. Also, learn and practice rendering your hand salute when we render honors or reporting to officers, the flag, and the nation. Literally, practice in front of a mirror. Make sure that when you're standing at the position of attention, you render your hand salute, that your upper arm is parallel to the ground. It is a straight edge from the fingertips to your elbow, right? And you're not bringing your head here, you bring your hand to your head, right? So you place your hand here and go back and forth and practice in the mirror. In the meantime, I will find other videos on YouTube that you can watch those demonstrations of those positions and movements and so on and so forth. Knowing when and which position you need to be standing in when addressing a non-commissioned officer or a commissioned officer will definitely help you transition in basic training better. And the fifth topic of discussion in this video is to memorize and learn these basic information prior to leaving Army basic training, which will include but not limited to your soldier's creed, the warrior ethos, the Army song, the Army values, the general orders, the rank structure, military time, and more. You're gonna be quizzed on this stuff the moment you get to Army basic training. So if you don't know it, basic training in of itself is already going to be a stressful environment. So memorize these things before going. So when you're standing on a chow line or any other time that you're just standing around doing nothing, your drill sergeants are going to conduct concurrent training and walk around and start quizzing you on this. And let's say you're on the chow line to get your food and your drill sergeant says, "Hey trainee, what's the second general order?" And you're like, drill sergeant, I don't know yet, drill sergeant. Wrong answer, go to the end of the line. Right? So the first thing that I would strongly suggest that you learn before going to basic training, if anything else you don't memorize, is the Soldier's Creed, because it's a 2-for-1 special. You're learning the Soldier's Creed and the warrior ethos that are embedded in the creed. So with that being said, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I leveraged myself last summer when I went through the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy.
He said it!
That never gets old. But with that being said, memorizing things is quite difficult for most people, to include myself. I never thought I'd be able to memorize this stuff. But with that being said, real quick, you are going to read each line separately 10 times each. Okay, so before you go to the next line, you're going to read that first line 10 times. Then you're going to write it out 10 separate times. Then the third time around, you're going to again read it out loud 10 times. Then on the fourth iteration, you're going to recite as much as you can remember of that first line, and then reading it again after you say it each time. And then you're gonna do this and add the next line, the next line, the next line, until before you know it, you've memorized the entire creed. Then only do this 20 minutes at a time. So study for 20 minutes, take a half hour to an hour break, study for another 20 minutes, and get right back into it and recycle like that. When you're driving, you're on the bus, you're riding a bike, whatever, test yourself. I'm an American soldier. I am a warrior and a member of a team, and go through the entire creed until it's completely memorized. Then, once you do have it memorized, perform it in front of somebody else, because you're gonna have to sound off at basic training in front of your peers, including the drill sergeants. So get accustomed to sounding off and being confident in what you just memorized. I will include down in the description area a study guide, a cheat sheet with all that information for you to start memorizing now, if not looking at the welcome letter that we give our Army National Guard soldiers, or the blue book. Again, that will also be included in the description area for you to start reading through and looking and all that good stuff. So the blue book, the study guide, the welcome packet, all that stuff that has this type of information in it is all down for you to download and start studying today. The sixth thing that we're going to discuss today is to familiarize yourself with PRT, Physical Readiness Training, the type of PT that you will be conducting and doing yourself day in and day out, all throughout Army Basic Training, OSA, and AIT, and throughout the rest of your Army career. I highly suggest it is a free app. Download the PRT app. I'll put it on the screen right here. Download this app. Look at the different exercises. Know how they work. It also links YouTube videos, like how-to videos for each individual exercise. So for your strength and mobility days, you will do the preparation drill, the 4 for the core, conditioning drill 1, conditioning drill 2, possibly climbing drill 1, and your recovery drill. On your endurance and mobility days, you will do preparation drill, hip stability drill, military movement drill 1, eventually military movement drill 2, and recovery drill. That app is a goldmine, and it also has additional information and explanations about the ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test, and updates to regulations as they are published. It also comes with a height and weight calculator to know if you're overweight, underweight, if you're right where you need to be. Additionally, there is a body fat calculator. Now, as of right now, I believe it is suspended based on the most recent article I read on the Military Times, that they are reviewing and revamping, hopefully, the body fat standards that is long overdue. So it really is an all-in-one app. I highly suggest that you memorize each exercise by name for the preparation drill, military movement drill 1, 2, the 4 for the core, hip stability drill, climbing drill 1, and recovery. If you can, memorize that before you leave and know generally how each exercise is conducted. The 7th topic of discussion is to cut out your bad habits. So if caffeine, no caffeine is allowed. No coffee, no monsters, no energy drinks, nothing with caffeine in it, right? To include sweets. Technically, they can't tell you not to have cake or ice cream, but understand that as your drill sergeant, if you consume anything with sugar, we are going to make sure and ensure that we do you a favor by burning off those extra calories in the form of PT, physical training. So, stay clear of sugar. And again, you're not going to be allowed coffee or anything caffeinated, so just let that go at least a week to 2 weeks before you leave. Additionally, there is no smoking or any type, form, shape of anything dealing with tobacco. No vaping, no hookah, no cigars, no cigarettes, no chew tobacco, nothing, nada. Quit now while you're ahead, or at the very least, cut back significantly each week until you are pretty much a quitter. Right? Normally I say never quit, but that is a disgusting habit. So I support it 200%. But understand, it doesn't matter if you've been smoking for 20 years. If you go to basic training or OSA or AIT, but mostly basic training and OSA, you are not allowed to smoke, chew, nothing. And that in of itself can be a huge challenge for some. Additionally, go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Mandatory wake up at Army Basic Training is 0500 on most days. Now, if you're doing a ruck march or something like that, you may be starting your day between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning, regardless. So make sure you start acclimating yourself by going to bed earlier and waking up earlier to get into that sleep cycle before you leave. Also, start eating better. Steer clear of all of the fast food as much as possible if you can, right? Eat cleaner because you will eat healthy. Now, most people who eat like trash or eat out most of the time, I'm not gonna point any fingers at anybody, but you know, I ate like garbage before leaving. But with that being said, a lot of you are going to lose weight at Army Basic Training, not because it's bad food, but because it's got smaller portions and you probably more than likely typically eat at home on your own. So it's going to be controlled portions and leaner, cleaner food at basic. So understand that. And the last tip in this section is to drink water. Lots of water every day. Try to drink a gallon a day before leaving. The reason being is while you're in a training environment, you're going to be walking around with a Camelback, which is your water source, and all you're allowed to drink is water. So with that being said, get accustomed to drinking just plain water. No sodas, no coffees, no juices, nothing, nada, just water. So at least a week prior, just get used to and acclimate yourself to drinking just water. And my last and final insights, tips and tricks and things to consider before leaving for Army Basic Training, I strongly encourage you to spend some quality time with your family members before leaving, because you're gonna be gone having pretty much zero contact while you're at Army Basic Training, okay? So if you have kids involved, a spouse or something like that, and you're really, really tight with your family, spend some time with them before leaving. Additionally, from the moment you sign your contract, right, from that point forward, do not get in trouble with the law and do your very, very best not to get injured or sick prior to leaving for basic training, okay? The reason being, if you, as your recruiter, we are your first line leaders. You belong to the government, and we are ultimately responsible for you. And anything that changes your medical, your legal status, we are the first ones to know about it. So unless you're bleeding out and dying, or getting handcuffs placed on you, we're the first person you call. Not your mommy, not your daddy, your recruiter. So anytime you receive a ticket, a citations, or you get arrested, or you are heading to the hospital for a true emergency, or you are feeling ill or sick, or what have you, you need to call your recruiter and let them know so that they can discuss it with their leadership and possibly cancel your current shift date to renegotiate and reschedule your shift date to a later date once that has been rectified. And if it's something that can't be rectified, then you're probably going to get discharged, depending on the circumstances. But you need to inform your recruiter as soon as possible. And the last and final tip in this video is to watch my What to Pack to Army Basic Training in 2021. It is worth every minute to watch, but if you don't want to watch it, I get it. I got you. Say less. Go into the description area, look at that list of suggested items for the COVID list, the essential list, and suggested items. If you want an explanation to why I'm suggesting those items, you have that timestamp of that chapter or timestamp for that topic of discussion, and you can watch just that, or you can bounce around the video to watch certain things without having to watch the entire video. And with that being said, do me a favor if you made it this far into the video. First of all, thank you. You are my real MVP Team SWARTZ squad member. Do me a favor, drop a hashtag Team SWARTZ down in the comment section, letting me know that you are my ride or die. I truly, I love the fact that you're here, and if you are here, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash it if that's something you're into. It really, really helps the video get out to other people. You don't have to subscribe. I know, I get it. About 70% of you are not subscribed, but you're still watching my videos, which is kind of creepy, if I may say so. But if you're not going to subscribe, at least like this video. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Wait a minute. Like this video and follow me on social. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out one of my other videos right over here. Just pick one. They're pretty cool. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I was in it. Spoiler alert. I teach you something. Just saying.